be shimmying up the rigging of the James Craig, digging out old tar from wire cables, pattern making for electrical junction boxes, or firing up the boiler on a steamship. The Sydney Heritage Fleet has a nautical task for you. Of course, there are opportunities for more sedate activity such as recording oral histories, archiving and even fundraising. Whatever the role, the sense of purpose and camaraderie shown amongst the volunteer workforce is impressive. In this video, we're going to show you what it's all about. If this kind of work appeals, I'm sure the fleet would love to have you aboard.
The whole place is just about 100% volunteer. There at the moment on this site we have about 35 people on this site today. It's our apprentice day on and our manager is here, but it's his volunteer day as well. A lot of our guys and women don't necessarily have skills. We obviously use people like coal firemen, but there is no one out there in the community with coal firing skills anymore. Right. We train volunteers to operate our equipment. They become semi-skilled very quickly. We also train people to become engineers, particularly in steam. And we also train people in square rig for James Craig. So basically people can arrive on site. Obviously they're not going to have those skills from the community because those heritage skills are no longer needed. Absolutely. Average age you'd put in the, I'd suggest the early 60s. I don't have any accurate figures on that, but just in terms of what people are, people are sort of retiring at 60. And then there's a second bump in our membership, which is the about to retire, kids are off your hands, and retired.
We have people who are over 80 who do these things, in fact over 90. So it's maybe not proof that it keeps you young, but it's certainly, I think having that active interest is what they get from that. That's a huge bonus for most people. One of our very important areas, being a museum, is to take oral history interviews. We have amongst our population around Sydney, the harbour, this area, people who've spent often their whole lives in some way on the water or have some connection. And those people, when they go, we have nothing to remember what they did, and they've got fascinating lives sometimes.
Their memories of how ships ran and how they were restored and whatever sort of then ties in with the ships that are going out, so that people can glean more information. In time also historians will have access to it for research and whatever, but it also informs the guides who talk about the ships and take the public around the ships, and it informs all of us who work there as a way of, again, broadening the picture of how these ships operated on the harbour.
Volunteers just about do everything. Right. We have volunteers who work in administration and fundraising and finance. We have people who work with safety programs, metalworking, woodworking, electrical, engineering, all sorts.
The full trade,
the full gamut of basically what is a shipyard and a small shipping company.
Right.
All the tasks that have to be done in that are done here by volunteers.
And that's the other thing, all the roles on board, all the crew roles are volunteers, and the fleet provides training for every role. So it's a terrific opportunity.
What sort of time commitment do you require from the volunteers?
This varies. Again, if someone's working and they've got family, they're not going to be able to put in what a single person retired can put in.
Why am I here? I'm a volunteer. And I like doing engineering stuff.
Fantastic.
Right, so I'm a retired. So, and just keeps me occupied, keeps my brain going.
It's a retirement occupational therapy.
Some people will put in 4 days, 5 days a week. Some people put in 1 day a month. Right. The place does run on teams.
Because we've been together for a while, we work very well as a team as well.
We've just seen that, yeah, absolutely brilliant.
We have teams in metalworking, woodworking, painting, electrical, engineering, deck and hospitality. It's a bit of a mix. Sometimes people retire and come in with extraordinary levels of industrial skills and they want to continue with the knowledge they have. Other people want to do something different.
I was a merchant seaman for 47 years and I've never lost the interest in ships.
I had a passion for square rig sailing ships in 1965 when I joined the army as a blacksmith.
We wanted to make sure that we could talk to people confidently, with being able to say this is what our volunteers put in and this is the area that they input into.
Right.
So we record their presence, their time, and what skills they used when they were on site. We also did another exercise where we wanted to work out what's the value of a volunteer. In the case of the John Oxley here over near us, we have roughly 100 man days a week, and that's roughly 1.5 million each year in terms of volunteer labour input.
That's fantastic. Great.
We've got a range of vessels. We started off very much, it was the Lady Hopeton and Port Jackson Marine Steam Museum. So steam was very much the emphasis in the early days. But we've gone from that. Now we have a range of vessels, including obviously James Craig, which is a sailing ship in its own right. And also we have motor vessels, small launches and so on. There's a huge amount of success built into being a member of the fleet. In other words, you love the ships, you're involved with them, and that is very, very fulfilling. But it's also great to have the public aboard and to see how much they enjoy it. So it's a two-part thing.
And you have a good sort of happy family here, everyone sort of beavering away?
Oh yes, there's no aggro because we're all here for the same reason.
Not the money?
Not the money, no. I do have to, and I've got no complaints about the pay because there isn't any.
Good.
But I do get paid in other ways.
Yeah.
Being part of useful to society is a good
Absolutely.
way.
Yeah.
It's contributing to society, so I feel useful.
I make a wooden pattern out of wood.
Yep.
Exactly the same shape.
Right.
That's the outside of that casting.
Right, okay. So you've turned that yourself?
Yeah, that's been turned in a lathe.
Right, okay.
And that's the inside shape been turned out of there.
Okay.
Well, I use a template to get the right shape.
Okay. Right, yep.
And I turn that out to the right shape there.
Okay.
That's a template off the outside. I turn that to the right shape there.
Okay,
So.
beautiful. What makes you come here deep in the bowels of a smelly old engine on a bright Saturday morning?
Well, it goes back to a bit of history, I guess. When I started as an apprentice engineer, I went to sea, and like everything, you go and get married, and that's the end of going to sea. You come ashore, and now I'm retired, and I've been retired for about 6 years. I just doing what I love most of all.
Excellent, excellent.
Well, this morning I'm climbing to the Royal, which is the yard that we've just put back up after renovation, and re-rigging the various lines that have to be put on to make the sail work.
Hence you're all rigged up for safety here.
Yeah, we always climb with a full safety harness on, with a stern fall arrest.
Yep.
And we have clips like these that we click on to a safety line on the yard. But when we climb with ascenders on a static line.
Great, okay.
Yeah.
And you're about to do that soon?
Yeah.
Good. Rob, didn't you think that was fantastic? I loved it. I love the smells, the atmosphere in the workshops. Everyone seems to, they're just passionate about using their hands and doing something different from what they've done all their lives. There wasn't one murmur of, I don't want to be here. It was, I really enjoyed it. And you can't, with film or sound, you can't get the smell. But I love the oily, maritime mixture of oil and seawater. Is a beautiful, beautiful smell. Yeah, so look, you couldn't have a better collection of people making their retirement years meaningful and purposeful. Great stuff.